I've fallen behind with my 941 payroll taxes. Any advice?
That's a great question. We have a lot of companies in that situation who come and look for funding, and it is a problem. You've got to pay your payroll taxes, so we do look at that in detail, but there's a number of different ways that we approach it. It really does depend on what situation you're at. So has the IRS filed a lien already, or are you just falling behind and need some help? With factoring, we're not worried about that as long as we have the full information, but we do prefer, and one of the reasons Dave is here is he can talk about companies that use a payroll service. You don't have the worry of falling behind with your taxes so much. Dave, talk a little bit about the services that you can help people with to stop them falling into that trap.
Sure. Of course, one of our first jobs is to keep people out of trouble with the tax agencies. That is what keeps a lot of people up at night.
Yep.
I know it does for you.
Yeah.
So what do you do when you're in that situation? As you said, the first question is assess where you're at. Because if you have some taxes that are past due, the very first thing that you need is a plan for how to not have it happen again.
Yeah, exactly.
If you are in a situation where you need to go to the tax agency like the IRS and try to work out a payment plan with them, very first question they're going to look at is, what are you doing right now?
Right.
They'll work with you if you have it under control now.
Exactly. Yeah, we've seen people that have got into installment plans, and that's great. And we can actually help them manage that as well. We'll remind them, we can build a reserve to pay that payment if they, can't get organized enough to do it. Right. The last thing you want to do is, if you've taken all of that time and effort to get an installment plan, is to lose it by defaulting on it.
That's right.
Because they're going to be much less liable to help you if you fall out of that plan.
Right. So one of the things that we're working with small business owners on when we manage the payroll process is that the cash flow involved gets managed payday by payday. So that eliminates that chance of the problem getting worse or happening again.
Yeah, exactly. And as a lender, we like to see that, because again, we can rely on Dave and his firm to take care of it. So, you won't fall back into that problem. So it's a great question. The answer is yes, we can help you. And if you don't have a payroll service in place right now, we will strongly recommend that you do that, because it will stop you getting into that trap again. Now, if you happen to have a lien filed, again, it's not necessarily the end of the world, but we are going to need that lien taken care of. So with factoring, we can generate enough cash usually from your receivables to pay it off. We can also work with a payroll company or a tax advisor to see if there's any kind of offer and compromise that can be done in order for that to be resolved.
Right, because one thing to keep in mind when you have that past due situation is it's expensive.
Yeah.
And so addressing it promptly is going to be in everybody's best interest.
Exactly.
So as you were saying, if the business is in a situation where they've got some credit capacity, you're probably going to be better off to try and structure it, take advantage of that, get the tax agency out of the picture, combined with have the process in place so it doesn't happen again.
Exactly. And, it doesn't hurt having an expert look after your payroll for you. I know when we started this business, I didn't have one day one, and trying to organize that along with run the company was a lot of stress, and I knew that it wasn't my area of expertise and I could easily mess it up. So, it's always a great idea to work with the professionals and have your payroll and your taxes taken care of. But don't look at any issue with 941 arrears or anything like that as being it's the end of the road for you. It really isn't. There's a lot of people out there that can help.